Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, entitled Dhruva Maharajas Goes Back to Godhead. Verse number 31. Tada dundubayo nedur mridandra panavadayaha Gandharva muthya prajaru hetuts rushuma vristayah. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. At that time, drums and cattle drums resounded from the sky. The chief Gandharvas began to sing, and other demigods showered flowers like torrents of rain upon Dhruva Maharaj. Purport. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother Suniti. It was Suniti who had given him the clue which had now enabled him to be personally carried to the Vaikuntha planet by the associates of Lord Vishnu. He now remembered her and wanted to take her with him. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, was his Patha Pradarsata Guru. Patha Pradarsata Guru means the Guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a Guru is sometimes called Sitsa Guru. Although Narad Muni was his Ditsa Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Sitsa Guru or Ditsa Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Sitsa Guru and Ditsa Guru, and generally the Sitsa Guru later on becomes the Ditsa Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman and especially his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaja's Ditsa Guru. Still, he was not less obliged to Suniti. There was no question of carrying Narad Muni to Vaikuntha, but Dhruva Maharaja's thought of his mother. Whatever plan the Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates immediately fructifies. Similarly, a devotee who is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord can also fulfill his wishes by the grace of the Lord. The Lord fulfills his wishes independently, but a devotee fulfills his wishes simply by being dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, he was assured by the associates of Vishnu that Suniti was also going to Vaikuntha in another plane. Dhruva Maharaj had thought that he was going alone to Vaikuntha, leaving behind his mother, which was not very auspicious, because people would criticize him for going alone to Vaikuntha and not carrying with him Suniti, who had given him so much. But Dhruva also considered that he was not personally the Supreme. Therefore, if Krishna fulfilled his desires, only then would it be possible. Krishna could immediately understand his mind, and he told Dhruva that his mother was also going with him. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord, and thus, whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
So, after Dhruva Maharaj boarded the Vaikuntha airplane in the presence of so many demigods showering flowers. At that point of time, it is said here that he remembered his mother, because his mother is the one who first instructed him to approach Vishnu, Narayana, by going to the forest. Now, that instruction of Suniti, his mother, was a great blessing by which it was just the starting of his greatest fortune, including his present good fortune, to go back to Vaikuntha, being carried in the transcendental airplane. So as is a wonderful quality of a devotee, he is always grateful to not only to the Supreme Lord, but also to the spiritual master, and also to whoever has helped him get closer to Krishna. Here, Narada Muni is the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaja. The mother only instructed him. Mother was not the one who planted the mantra in his heart, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That was all done by Narada Rishi. The detailed worship of the Supreme Lord was also given by Narada Rishi. So Narada Rishi was his Diksha Guru. And this Guru, this kind of a spiritual master who shows the way first, is called Pata Pradarshaka Guru. And now he remembered that, and he put forward his request before the associates of the Lord. And even without even explicitly asking, the associates of the Lord knew the mind of Dhruva Maharaj, and they pointed out to him an airplane even before. It's already your mother is there in that airplane, Vaikuntha plane. That completely satisfied Dhruva Maharaj. So there are several points, philosophical points, that we can derive out of this desire of Dhruva Maharaj to take his mother back to Godhead. The first one was, as I explained, the Vaishnavas always have to be grateful to different instruments of Krishna to take him back to Godhead. Now it is not, nowhere it is commented or anybody said, you are unfit to go to the Vaikuntha because you are attached to your mother. The important point to note. Because he was not attached to the mother as such, as his mother. He was attached to her in connection with Krishna as Pata Pratakshaka Guru. One, his gratitude was not for being the mother, his gratitude to her and remembering that soul was because of her significant contribution to bring this great fortune in his life. This is the principle of Vaishnava association, where the devotees are ever grateful to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra because they are the boat that takes the living entity across this samsara of birth and death. As it is even according to material laws of nature, everybody is obligated to everybody else for everything that they receive. Like they receive so many things. Life is interdependent. They receive from the planet Earth. They receive from demigods. The administration is going on. And we are all beneficiaries of that administration. Rain comes, sunlight comes, all very systematically arranged. And these systematic arrangements are all in charge of various representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in a way we are all obligated to all of them. But when one becomes a surrendered devotee, engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, then it is described in the scriptures that he is freed from all these obligations, karmic obligations. One is no longer obligated to father, mother, to demigods, to earth. Because whatever he does, his life is surrendered for the purposes and plans of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. When Krishna is the enjoyer of everything that he does, then where is the question of obligation? Because everyone else is simply they are distributing the power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whether it is devatas, anybody. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is seated in everybody's heart. And he is the sanctioner of all the desires of all living entities, including demigods. The Supreme Lord is at the foundation of everything. Like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives the example of pearls strung around a thread. The same way the entire existence is strung around his personality, Krishna's personality. At the bottom of everything, you will find cause of all causes, Sarva Karna Karanam, is Krishna. So if somebody is serving Krishna, then he has no obligations. At the same time, gratitude and obligation does not, the quality of gratitude and obligation is a permanent feature of the jiva. If though he is not obligated to anybody in the material world, he is obligated to anyone from whom he spiritually benefits to different degrees. One should have one's gratitude and offer service and wish well, just like Suniti. She's a woman. So Dhruva Maharaja, good wishes. She also went to Vaikuntha. So if the Supreme Lord sanctions, of course, no doubt Suniti was already a devotee, but she did not do all the austerities and everything that as Dhruva Maharaj did. At the same time, because of giving birth to a great son like Dhruva Maharaj, even without all these sadhanas, this is a very good example. Just a kripa siddha, just kripa. The son asked, felt in his heart, my mother also should be saved, should go to Vaikuntha. It was sanctioned. So there is no rigid rule with respect to going back to Godhead. The Lord wants to satisfy the desires of His devotees. That is the only business of the Lord. And the only business of the devotees is to always think of the Lord and serve the Lord and please the Lord. And what is the Supreme Lord occupied with? It's always occupied with His satisfying the desires of His devotees. Devotees have no material desires. Even if it is there, if he is determined to go back to Him, the Supreme Lord will fulfill those desires. Simply his wishes are all satisfied, as Prabhupada says here. Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord. And thus whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled. Because the fulfiller of all desire is the super soul, the all-pervading Lord. And when one becomes a devotee of the Lord immediately is a Surtam Sarvabhutanam, friend of all living entities. Especially he is dear friend of his devotees. So we all have a great good fortune having received this Krishna consciousness from Srila Prabhupada. However, so many devotees have served Srila Prabhupada in printing books, distributing books, and we became recipient of these books, because of which we got into Krishna consciousness, because of which all the blessings of the path of Krishna consciousness has filled our life. Practically, we are liberated from this material world. So we are all obligated to each and every devotees who have served Srila Prabhupada's mission, and those who are continuing to serve, print the books, distribute the books, build temples. All these are points which attract the conditioned living entities. Books attract. When they read the books, it attracts them. They come to the temple, big buildings, they come to the deity, they see the deity, they get attracted. They associate with Vaishnavas, they get attracted. So spiritually elevated means automatically there is gratitude. One who does not feel that gratitude is still self-centered. Narada Rishi was his guru. As far as his going back to Godhead is concerned, Dhruva Maharaj need not have thought about his mother at all. Need not have thought. So this is a good example for us to understand that you don't go back to Godhead just because of only Shastra or only Guru, but by the combination of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. This is the arrangement of the Lord. Key roles may be played. Without Srila Prabhupada delivering us, we can never go back to Godhead. That is his unique role. Without shining Divya Gyan in our heart, we cannot go back to Godhead. Divya Gyan means transcendental knowledge. When we read Prabhupada's books, there is a transcendental potency in the transcendental knowledge. It depends on how you read, what consciousness you read. Everything here in Prabhupada's purports are Divya Gyan. But each reader gets different things. It is not a difference, it's not a book of information. The book of Divya Gyan means there is a Shakti, spiritual Shakti in that information. Information is a subset. So Prabhupada's mercy is also required to understand, to take out from Prabhupada's purport what is there, to go into your heart as Divya Gyan. Pariprashnena Seveya, you have to sincerely serve him. Those who do not actually serve Guru cannot understand the message of Guru also. So sometimes those who think that I went to college, I got knowledge, I forgot the person who gave me knowledge, I don't care, I got knowledge. That is different from spiritual knowledge. As long as we are always grateful to everything that we learn from Prabhupada, that gratitude should be there. We should not read his book as a matter of information or becoming scholar or a matter of how I am going to repeat this to somebody else, that information. One should submissively hear from Srila Prabhupada. He is speaking through the pages of this Bhaktivedanta. We don't read actually, we hear. So this, just like the holy name is everything. It depends upon you what you receive from the holy name. It depends upon you. Guru can give everything. Depends upon you what you want to receive from the Guru. Sadhus can give so many things. It depends upon what is it that you take through Sadhu Sangha. So there is a quality of relationship with holy name, there is a quality of relationship with spiritual master, there is a quality of relationship with sadhus. According to that quality, one receives kripa. from all these sources. And with this, only by the kripa of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, we enable it, we get enabled to go back to God. Sometimes neophyte devotees, they understand, especially they, after understanding the Ritvik system of initiation, then they become very arrogant to every other devotee, except Prabhupada is my Guru. I don't care for you, I don't care for you, I don't care. Very dangerous. He will never get taste for spiritual life. Sadhu Sangha is very much part of it. And that is why this Ritvik system of initiation is an initiation system within the institution. The institution is full of sadhus. So there is a method, in the system of initiation incorporates, because it's an institutional system, it incorporates the function of Sadhu Sangha. It incorporates. So then such people lose taste. They'll not be able to grasp what Prabhupada is saying. They lose taste in reading Prabhupada's books. Even more than the information, it is the association with Prabhupada when you read. His Vani, content of his Vani is one thing. Simply if you are feeling submissive and you are hearing, that means I sat with Prabhupada and he talked to me. What he talked, maybe not material, even. You may forget. So that is why it is very important that we read every day Prabhupada's books. We read his books. When we read, we associate with the personality. It's Advaya Jnana. It's a very important spiritual principle. One part you touch the whole. Somebody who is after knowledge will say, what is this one sloka, how many years it will take Bhagavatam? That is not the issue. The goal is not to cover all the information and knowledge. The goal is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Every day you should hear Bhagavatam. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, how to increase the quality of association with sadhus?
How to increase the quality of association with sadhus? First of all, the direction given to us by the Goswamis, by our previous acharyas, the principle of sadhu sangha. One has to practically categorize those who are your peers, those from whom you can receive, those to whom you can give. To those with whom you can exchange, those to whom you can give, those to whom you can take. So 3 levels of sadhus. And how to determine this? Not years of seniority. Phalena parichyate. From where do you get that receive? From whom all you can receive, whom all you have received. To them, you should associate for that purpose submissively, rendering service. Taking guidance. Now there will be less experienced devotees. Devotees who are struggling, like how you have already struggled and you have crossed that struggle, you have come to the next struggle. Spiritual life is an internal struggle of the soul to become free from this material attachments, material world, ignorance, bodily concept of life, sense gratification, material friendship, love, name, fame, adoration in the society of Vaishnavas. All these things are the different levels of struggles that every devotee, conditioned soul has to go through. So, you might have crossed something and somebody might not have crossed. So we have to help. You have to give association. And then that is the quality of relationship with those who can take from us. And those from whom you can exchange realizations, help each other. These are different kinds of, just like a whole, this body is a network of blood vessels, of blood going this way, that way, right? Keeps the body healthy. Similarly, in a Vaishnava community, the Vaishnavas have relationship with other Vaishnavas. Based on these principles, there is sadhu sangha flowing everywhere, in everybody's life. Then there is a healthy growth in Krishna consciousness. Merely by acquiring knowledge, it doesn't happen, because this is a path of bhakti. So quality of sadhu sangha, for the quality of sadhu sangha, you have to understand what is sadhu sangha, as I explained. And then one should, with those, if you don't have compassion, then you will not give time to those who are suffering, those who are trying to come up. That means you have to have, if you want to, quality of association with younger devotees, because you also benefit. From the Krishna's eyes, you benefit because you are doing devotional service, giving association to some junior devotee. So you benefit. So if you have to benefit if your benefit has to be quality benefit, then your seva should be quality. Quality seva, for that means you have to have compassion. Compassion means You're getting into other person's shoes. Self-centered person cannot be compassionate. 24 hours is thinking I. I and my. So quality of compassion is required for good sadhu sangha. To receive from, you have to have quality of submissiveness. So if we have that quality of submissiveness, it's a very practical thing. If you see a young devotee very submissively comes to you, you feel obligated. You feel like pouring over everything that you have to him. Is it not? So submissiveness is required. And it equal friendship is required. Of course, friendship with everybody. But a mood to exchange what you have with somebody and receive something that he has to give. So that quality is required. If you are very proud, then you cannot have that peer association if you are proud. Why? Naturally, will anybody come near you? I is a puffed up guy, nobody will go near him. Even equals won't come to you. Only I know. Only I know everything. The pride. Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. As you mentioned, Prabhu, that reading Prabhupada book is not merely a knowledge gathering.
Hearing.
Hearing. The actual reading Prabhupada book means hearing Srila Prabhupada. So the question is, one who has lost the taste of reading Srila Prabhupada books, or he may not have experienced the taste of hearing when he reads Prabhupada. So how to revive that or how to cultivate that?
You read more, chant as a sadhaka, then taste for chanting will come. As a sadhaka, as a rule you read, then if your consciousness is still gross, you cannot hear Prabhupada. You will see only book pages. You will see only the words. You won't see the sound behind the words. Sound of Prabhupada. The voice of Prabhupada behind that. You won't see. So that kind of when you have a relationship with a person, then your hearing capacity of Prabhupada's books also goes up. And it's like when you know a person more, you know his mind more. More you know his mind, more you can get from out of his mind. Because you can vibe with his mind. So Prabhupada's mind we have to know. How do you know Prabhupada's mind? All this is the whole Bhaktivedanta purport is Prabhupada's mind. So start knowing this way, that way, and then sometimes you just see as soon as Prabhupada some line is there, you know what he's going to say also. So you know his mind. What he will say for this purport, for this verse, what he will say. You come to know. Okay? Next.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. The question was related to reading.
Related to
Reading, Prabhu.
reading.
So I heard from so many devotees that the first reading should be like just go on reading and don't go into much details.
Don't go into?
Much details. And the second reading should be like studying everything, every shloka in depth. And I also heard from Prabhupada that better than reading the whole chapter for a day, better to contemplate on the one single shloka and go into much details. So a little ambiguity and confusion was there. So what could be the ideal way that we can read?
All combined together. But the first one you don't take it like you have to go through it for the sake of going through it. No. Means try to capture the big picture. You have to. Without understanding what is the use of reading. Reading is for understanding. Some depth point comes, you may leave it. You get the big picture. Go on reading with the big picture. So you get the big picture. So therefore he said that first is skim through. Even forget about reading all the book. Even today, let's say 1 hour you are reading. In 1 hour first whatever you have decided to read, get the big picture. Then you go into little more details. What all questions came to you. Try to understand them. While understanding that, more questions will come to you. Then you study them. Okay? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।